All right, let's try it again. I'll give everybody a chance to get in here. Good morning, Cheryl. Yeah, I don't know what happened. We got shut down. The Clintons clipped another one. I'll be on in 2 minutes. Give everybody a chance to get back in here. All right, we're back. They really didn't want me talking about the Clintons, I guess. They didn't want me talking about how Hillary and Bill Clinton are responsible for murdering so many people and causing plane crashes and stuff like that. I guess they don't want me talking about that. And they don't want me talking about how Chelsea Clinton has a horse face and she started a podcast that nobody cares about. So we'll move on. Guess they don't want me talking about that. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. All right. This is Seattle. This is a company called We Heart Seattle. And this is what affordable housing looks like in Seattle. And every time they close a store or a bowling alley or any type of business, they put up this type of housing now. This lady hasn't lived there. She lives on the streets. She hasn't even lived in her own apartment for a long time. It's just insanity.
And I was told the children was coming and they never showed up. This is the point where I did it. I left the room. I don't even sleep in here. I don't even come in this room because what happened to my room was they call themselves straightening my room up and they took out all my stuff in clear plastic bags. And I had to pull everything out of the bags and then they did it again. And I just
So where do you stay now, Rosa? If
I
you're
stay
not
with friends and on the street. I don't even come in here. I come in here to like grab a pair of clothes and I leave. And,
I'm
you know,
sorry.
I just don't care
So
about
this DESC facility doesn't come with housekeeping or case management to help you contend with?
Yeah, well, because they promised me they were going to come with exterminators. They didn't come with exterminators. This is an idea of what they call helping me shake my room, that shelf. They put all my stuff on that shelf randomly. You know what I'm saying?
And this place is completely roach infested. Everywhere. And that lady says she doesn't stay here because the roaches come out at night.
No, I got it. No, I'm talking with someone. I'll come out in a minute.
When was the last time you took a shower or bathed in here?
I am.
Never?
I don't even stay in here, honey. Because at night the roaches come out.
How long have you been in this apartment?
A year and a half. I normally keep it pretty clean, but after mildew and bugs and everything, it's just bad. I left the refrigerator. There's a refrigerator right next to them. All my appliances blew out. I asked for new appliances.
Your appliances are all blown out?
Yeah, because it's got water in it.
It just makes me sick. You know, and this is all over. They're doing this all over. And these places are just becoming, I don't even know the word for it. Contamination sites. Just absolute disgust. Toro, good morning. Good to see you. So that's what, being compassionate to people and low income housing and all that. This is what it looks like. She doesn't even live there. It's homelessness for profit. It's these devils. Of course, there's Narcan right there. But anyway, we'll move on. This one hits home with me. It says, Washington Mexican Restaurant Coalition demands crackdown on illegal taco stands. And I'm so glad. I literally called the health department and I tricked them the other day. And then I started cussing them out because I'm so sick and tired. First of all, they fined me $217 last year for selling snow cones. Literally as far away from the health department, right on the county line, like out in the middle of nowhere. Because of social media, they tracked me down. And I could have got the permit with them, but I didn't want to spend the $85. So what did they do? They came out there and they fined me $217 within an hour of me selling my snow cones. I don't even think I sold any snow cones yet. But yet now they allow all these illegals to sell tacos and all kinds of shit right next to them, right next to the health department, right here in Tacoma. And I'm sick of it. So I cussed them out the other day. And even the Mexican restaurant owners are fucking pissed. They don't want illegal Mexicans selling food on the street. So they're demanding that they crack down on it. And thank God, because I'm just so fucking sick of it. They're everywhere. And they're just killing, normal vendors, business and restaurant business. And they're dumping their taco grease straight down the drains. you know, down the catch basins. They're just fucking disgusting. So we don't need it. You know, they want to sell, they want to sell their shit. They need to do it, you know, like everybody else. But the problem is that the health department's facilitating it. And I told them they were crooked. Like, I literally started screaming at them. It's not the first time that I've got into it with them. So I'm just over it. I'm over the fucking favoritism and just the absolute fucking corruption and bullshit in these states. In my state, you know, I know it's like that other places too, but here I just can't fucking take it anymore. Where was this at? Not sure where it's at, but we'll just watch it. I mean, my God. I don't even know what to say about that one. So I don't know if you guys know about this. I talked about a little bit yesterday. There's a libtard judge in South Carolina where her house exploded and people got hurt. She wasn't home, but they ruled it was not an arson, but it's just pretty weird timing because the El Salvadorian president was saying that if we're ever going to stop the crime in the United States, we got to get the corrupt judges. And then all of a sudden somebody's house blows up. That's a corrupt judge. But anyways, this is Nicole Wallace from MSNBC. And I don't know if I don't watch him. I don't watch this shit, but she's got a hot take on it. And she's the one that said something about that DJ Daniel, that little black kid that's the cop or whatever. She said that he, was talking shit about his cancer or something. I can't remember. She should have got fired then, but.
When we come back, what we're learning about the fire that destroyed the home of a South Carolina Circuit Court judge who faced criticism from Trump officials after a ruling she made against the Trump administration. It comes amid a surge in hostility and threats against judges, as well as criticism directly from the Trump administration, including for Judge Goodstein, after she temporarily blocked the Justice Department from accessing the files of millions of registered voters in South Carolina. Mary McCord is still with us. Mary, what questions do you have based on what we're hearing so far?
You know, this is the kind, again, we've talked today already about crossing Rubicons, right? And when you're starting to attack judges because of their rulings, we're in a very, very dangerous position in this country. And it makes judges fearful. It makes prosecutors fearful, as we know. It makes others in positions where they could be critical.
Suzanne, good morning. Good to see you. I hope I'm not missing anybody here. Yes, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Well, the judge's house, she wasn't home. The husband was home, and he's some type of politician. And there were other people there, and I think some people had to jump out of the windows, and I don't know. So I think people might have got burnt and hurt. I don't know exactly. So let me see. Let me read what this even said. MSNBC is being pressured to fire leftist Nicole Wallace after she tried to blame a fire at the home of South Carolina judge on the Trump administration. Well, she may not be wrong. You know what I mean? Charlie Kirk got his neck blown off in front of all of us. We still don't know exactly what happened. More than likely, we think it was, who. I mean, so, if Israel had something to do with it, and our entire government is compromised by Israel. So, I mean, I guess Trump works for Israel. Everybody works for Israel. So, somebody's doing this shit. You know what I mean? Maybe this is an isolated incident, but I don't know. There's a lot of weird shit going on. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. Whether that was arson or not, I have no idea. Now, we were talking about Laura Loomer earlier, and I don't know if you guys know what she looks like in real life, but whoever did this is fucking a genius. Turned her into Jigsaw. And it's going to be one of my all-time favorite pictures because I can't stand that lady. She's such a gaslighter. Joe Della, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Let's see here. So, and speaking of Charlie Kirk, you know, Candace Owens, she's the one that's been leading. She's basically the only one who is trying to get to the truth, like really trying to get to the truth. And she has been being attacked by everybody. And she dropped receipts, text messages. It was confirmed by TPUSA that those text messages are real. And one of the names that Candace dropped was Josh Hammer, which is the guy in the white. And he knew about Charlie Kirk's, he knew about it. In fact, he tweeted something, and I have it, but I just want to play this real quick.
What Charlie was essentially trying to do was he was essentially trying to figure out how to navigate this to keep the Nick Fuentes neo-Nazi Groyper stuff at bay while trying to meet the younger generation, the Gen Z folks who are pretty wobbly on this issue, kind of meet them on their own terms and to try to kind of guide them towards a better place without using kind of the outmoded rhetoric and talking points of kind of the 1970s, 1980s boomers. That's essentially what he was trying to do. Now, we can quibble as to whether he made the right decision here or there. I happen to not like that Tucker Carlson speaks at Turning Point USA events. I think Tucker Carlson is a malicious anti-Semite. I think he's the most dangerous anti-Semite in the history of the United States. I think he is a profoundly dangerous man.
Tucker Carlson is the most dangerous anti-Semite in the history of the United States? What? See, when you hear people like this talk, we need to start being able to identify these people. These are the enemies. You know, these people, we don't even really know who they are. This guy, Josh Hammer, he's a snake, you know, and he's got that word salad like Kamala Harris where they're saying a bunch of weird gaslighting terms that really don't make any sense. And he's trying to steer a narrative a certain way. Look how he got that one eyebrow just popped up in the air. And these guys are fucking snakes, man. Snakes. And he tweeted about Charlie Kirk's assassination. I'll show you. I have the tweet somewhere. Let me see if it's in here. No, I bookmarked it though. I'll find it. Let's move on. So now this, when Candace Owens dropped the receipts of those text messages, and it basically was saying that Charlie Kirk was done with Israel. He was done with being pressured. He was done with it. And this is them admitting that she's not lying.
Charlie was loyal to people that he had shared history with, right? He was asked, I think this may be what you were about to say, Blake. He was asked about Candace before in public, and he would always say, listen, we're friends. He would never say an ill word about her. And if people, tried to force him to do that about Tucker or whatever, he would always be defiant because he didn't want to be morally blackmailed.
Exactly. Charlie was loyal to people who had ever been friends to him, whether it was very old donors or just people who had worked with Turning Point.
Yeah.
And as long as they were not attacking him, he would not air any dirty laundry or frankly any disagreements he had with people. He did disagree with Candace on the Israel issue. He disagreed with Tucker on the Israel issue, but he also recognized Tucker had positions they agreed on. Tucker was a useful.
So there's turmoil within that organization. And, the text messages showed that it was a $2 million Jewish donor that pulled their money. They said they had just lost $2 million because he wasn't being pro-Israel enough. I think I saved that too. This is crazy. Do you guys know who Matt Gaetz is? I know. This is who I want to be Attorney General. Pam Bondi can step down. They put this guy in OAN, the One American News Network, on Twitter. Not really a fan of that. He's much better working in the government. These are the people we need in the government. But listen to him expose AIPAC, which is the Israeli lobbyist in Washington, D.C. This is fucking insane.
Initially, I resented the fact that there was no appreciation for nuance. Like if you asked any questions about any decision of the Israeli government in any place regarding settlements, regarding Gaza, whatever, you were like, you had deviated from the script. And I just, in any policy area, I had resentment over that. And then I saw the way the AIPAC worked, and that was weird for like a country lawyer like me. I remember my first AIPAC reception, and like your fundraiser tells you have to go, and your chief of staff tells you have to go, your committee chairman all tell you have to go, and you get there and you wear this name badge, and I remember there's a QR code on it, and what we were supposed to do was go talk to donors, and then if they liked you, they scanned your QR code to make a donation like on the spot. And so can you just imagine how demoralizing that is to like be told that your job for the next several hours to go chat people up, hoping they would scan you like a can of tomato soup on the way out of the meeting.
I mean, it's literally purchasing.
Right. And so I saw that and I was like, wow, that is so freaking weird. And then, I was in Israel. I went multiple times, and I did not like the fact that I found someone in my room rooting around in my stuff that should not have been there at the King David Hotel when I came back to my room when no one was expecting me to be back in my room. And I just
presumably Israeli law
enforcement. I don't know who it was. I just thought like, this is weird. All of these things combined are odd. And then the policy outgrowth seems to be an obsession about the Middle East that has not served my generation well. I just don't.
So I don't know if you guys pick up on that, but you wear a name badge with a QR code on it. So I always wonder, like, why, for example, the mayor race here in Seattle, we have Bruce Harrell and this weird chick. She can't even hold a train of thought. She literally says that. I always think to myself, why do we always get two piece of garbages to choose from? There's so many qualified people out there that are capable of running the cities and states in America. Smart business people that truly care about American families and American values and will have our interests, in their heart. Why do we never get to vote for those people? And this really hits home. This is why. Because you have to go to these fundraisers, and if they don't scan you, you don't have the funding to continue. Like that's where it's really decided at. You know what I'm saying? It's not decided at the voting poll. That's option A or B. They don't need a specific person. They just need a person that meets their specific requirements. It doesn't, it's not like, oh, we absolutely need that person. No, it's like, okay, we could use either one of these two people. So let's fund both of these guys to the max so they make it all the way to the end. And then the American people can choose between politician A or politician B. But it was already decided long ago at the QR code scanning, because all the people that we would have really wanted to vote for didn't get scanned because they know that doesn't fit the narrative and they're not going to follow the script. I mean, it's that simple. You don't have money, you're not going to be able to run for office. I don't know how it works, but apparently you need a lot of money to, for whatever, social media ads, airtime. I don't know exactly how it works, but you have to pay for all your own shit. So that is just insane that they do that. But it makes sense. It makes sense. That's why we get these weirdos to vote for. Because in order for them to even get in front of us, they have to have been liked by the donors. That's where all the magic happens. Very, very interesting. All right, buckle your seatbelts. This lady, I don't know what her name is, like Katie something. She's running for governor of California. This is 100% to my point of like, there's literally got to be one person on every square block in America that's more qualified than this lady to be governor of California. They want whoever will be a puppet and follow what they say. 100%, Suzanne. Here is your possible governor of California.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel
you
like
need
this
them
is
to win?
unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
Correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that.
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you.
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never had to do this
reporter.
before, ever.
You've never had to have a
end an
conversation
interview.
with
To end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make.
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these. And if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you. And I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up question.
Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, of course she looks like that, right, Sweet Tea? Here, let me get to, I think it was like the 56 mark or something. I'm going to play it real quick again and then pause.
Votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're.
There we go. What is this? What are we looking at? I mean, why do they do this to us? Yeah, no follow-up questions. Got it. She will never win because she has a difficult attitude and doesn't know the answer. So she's making excuses. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, she's complete. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many more people qualified, like, to be the governor. But these are the people that, get their QR code scanned for whatever reason, because they follow the script of the satanic death cult that is wreaking havoc on our schools, and that they're attacking our children. Is really what's going on, and it's people like this that are going to facilitate the continued assault on the youth of America, cutting off their genitals, brainwashing them that it's okay to change their gender. And it's because they scan the QR codes for these people. They want these people running, the rich. This guy is he goes against what Bill Gates says about CO2 emissions. That CO2 is so bad, but it's called the gas of life. So this doctor, and I tend to use my discernment, and I just personally believe this guy when he talks.
CO2 is a gas of life. When you have more CO2, the plant kingdom, the whole ecology, even the oceans, gonna have more, basically, ability, more fishes, more everything. More life, essentially. That's why it's called gas of life. And these people want to demonize it as some gas that can cause global warming, can cause hurricane to run faster or weaker. I don't know what they want. To have more rain, more droughts, and all this other nonsense that they claim. All of that, it just ain't so. That's the problem. By the way, this is how serious I am. I check everything they say. I check. As a scientist, you cannot just dismiss them. You cannot laugh at them. You cannot, chide them. You cannot just make joke of them. You check everything. So as a very serious scientist, and I publish scientific paper refuting all of this arguments. Scientific papers maybe mean nothing to the average people, but it's really important. It's like a document that you have to document and then put out the proper scientific arguments about what is right, what is wrong.
I knew what you meant, Suzanne. Arrogant attitude, and didn't know the answer. Thank you, though. Yes. The X-Files, what's going down? Good to see you. Agents for Thindu and Stiggs reporting for duty. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. So I just tend to believe this guy, and he says he's got receipts. And I mean, do we believe anything that those people say? I don't believe anything a politician says. And all the scientists in America are bought and paid for. We don't even ever hear them talk. They give us the complete shills that they don't even try to pretend are shills, like Neil Tyson deGrasse, who is just completely, he's as bad as that lady running for governor. Here in
CO2 is a gas of life.
Sorry. Seattle Public School caught handing out chest binders and tucking gear for teens. Yes. School I think it's in Covington, Washington, which is not too far from here. They're handing out genital tuckers and and chest binders. So that's, I think, so you can hide your boobs. If you're a woman, a girl, if you're a little girl, a little kid, and you decide you want to be a boy for the day, you can put on a chest binder and tuck your boobs. This is what they're allowing in public schools. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is middle school or grade school or high school or what. It doesn't matter. It's all pedophilia. It's all satanic, illegal, immoral, punishable by death, just torture. And this is what's going on in the schools. Chest binders and tucking gear. They actually have a term. It's actually a legal term. It's called trans tape. There's tape that it's used to, I think, that's what tucking gear is. It's called trans tape. You can tape your private parts to make it appear like it's not there, type of thing. And this is in the public schools here in my state. And like I said, I'm making a stand when it comes to my granddaughter. I'm definitely outspoken about it now. And I've emailed senators here like Jamie Peterson, who is just basically one of the biggest pedophiles to ever live. And he's a state senator here in Washington, openly gay, married to a gay principal. So they have 3 boys that live in their house. It's just all satanic nonsense. and I don't even really know how to process it in my brain. It's just there. The 74 bus. I'll be right back. Okay, Suzanne. Is that Stiggs's bus you're talking about? That's funny. We've seen Laura Loomer. I did that. This was in this tweet here is in reference to the illegal food vendors that we have here in Washington. And somebody wrote, good, because some of them are pouring their grease down the street drains, which is not good for the salmon. It says the state of Florida officially bans lab-grown meat, which they did, but they're being sued by Bill Gates. Bill Gates is suing 10 states right now to force them to eat lab-grown meat. So we'll see. That is what you're saying, Suzanne. That's funny. It's hilarious. So that's basically all I have on that. Let me see what I got for. Let me stop this screen, see if I have anything saved on YouTube. I think I have at least one video on here.
Okay.
Sorry, let's see here. Playlist. No, not that one. StreamYard 2. What do we got? This is David Lee Roth this year performing. I showed him before. I don't get it. Like, what happened? We used to have, like back in the 70s and the 80s, we had talent, man. We had, and these people, is it because of the food that we eat now and all of the drugs? And I don't think that, I know that like drug, like traditional, like, narcotics and stuff like that, like cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, definitely will be, play a role in somebody's later on in their life. You'll see the effects of it. But I think this is like, because we're being poisoned with our food and in the water and stuff like that, that absolute freak shows, man. What are we watching here?
Somebody give me a doctor.
So when I was in 4th grade, my teacher said, bring in something interesting for show and tell.
And, at least, what's his name? Frankie Valli, he looks like Frankie Valli, but Frankie Valli is 90, and Frankie Valli looks better than David Lee Roth. And I think David Lee Roth is probably like 60, if that. So this is Bill Gates. It's just fucking creepy. Just listen to this. Does it get any more creepy than this fucking guy?
So when I was in 4th grade, my teacher said, bring in something interesting for show and tell. And I remember talking to my dad. I think he was the one who said we could go to the slaughterhouse and get a cow lung. And I thought, wow, that is a really great idea. So we picked it up, put it in a white sheet. When I unwrapped it, there was a mixture of awe and disgust. Yeah, I actually didn't use gloves. I'm sure you did. This is pretty good. This is almost identical. And I, played around with it, showed, kind of air going in and out. One girl fainted. The teacher, Mrs. Carlson, said, hey, that was great, but get that thing out of here. I think it was a big hit. One thing that doesn't change is cow lung.
I don't know what I'm looking at right there. But I think we're looking at one of the most psychotic Jeffrey Dahmer, but he gets away with it. Keith Richards is still going strong. I believe The Voice normally has a sell by date. Yeah, 100%, Joe. You know, those guys, you know, believe it or not, like Mick Jagger and those guys, they work out. They're actually like exercise guys and health freaks. You know, I think Mick Jagger's dad was like a super health freak, which is why they, you know, they are able to perform as long as they do. Could be all of those things you mentioned, but also he is old and untalented. 100% Sweet Tea. Bill Gates, an extremely dangerous person. 100%, Joe. I mean, this guy is absolutely insane. And you know what? I looked this up. I don't know if I told you guys this, but so the first cases of COVID were in Washington State, here in Washington State. There was a guy that came back from China, allegedly on an airplane in Everett, Washington, which is up north. Okay. Then the next documented cases were at a retirement home in Kirkland, Washington. Now, I'll never forget when I did a blackjack event on a cruise ship back in 2020. And this might have been, no, this was like 2022, actually. This guy that I used to work for called me and asked me to do him a favor. And I did a couple of events for him. And we cruised around. And so we had to go on this cruise ship. And, you know, it's just like I'm dealing craps. I'm doing dice on for a fantasy casino on a cruise ship for like, I think it's for like Facebook, for the Facebook company. And we're cruising around Lake Washington, and you go through like these locks or whatever it is. And you go from Lake Washington to Lake Union. And I can't remember which one Bill Gates lives on, but I just remember like the instructions to get there. You go to Kirkland and then you park at such and such. And then we get on the boat. And then when we're on the boat, I remember the captain or whatever come over the speaker and go, "Oh yeah, there's Bill Gates's mansion is right there to your left." I remember thinking to myself, that's kind of weird that old folks home where the COVID was, it was in Kirkland, and Bill Gates's mansion. I looked it up. 6.7 miles from Bill Gates's $100-something million mansion to the old folks' home that was the epicenter for COVID in the United States. Is that a coincidence? 6 miles? In fact, that's got to be the closest retirement center to his mansion. There's not a lot of shit by him but rich people. You know what I mean? It's like he lives on the water. He lives in Medina, which is just surrounded by the rich. But yet he's only 6 miles from the epicenter of COVID. Very strange. I think smoking and strong alcohol can change people's weight. Oh, 100%, Suzanne. All those things coupled with drugs have a diverse effect on your body, especially the vocal cord. Yeah, it does. He went on Joe Rogan. He's got a 3-hour talk. You know, he's a crazy person. David Lee Roth. So I just thought that was interesting about Bill Gates. What a creepy motherfucker he is. I mean, it's beyond creepy. A cow lung. Has anybody? That's just not normal. What else do we got here? Let's see here. Got a couple more and then we'll be done. Lab-grown chicken approved for sale in the U.S.
This new scam is spreading rapidly in 2025 and emptying bank accounts in seconds.
You own a credit card?
We are back with the new lab-grown chicken that was just approved for sale in the U.S. Could be headed to your dinner plate. Devin Dwyer has the details. Good morning, Devin.
Hey, good morning, George. Americans ate 75 billion pounds of red meat and chicken last year. But what if some of that meat was not raised on farms, but instead of high-tech facilities? Scientists say that could be good for the environment and your health, and soon it could be on menus and store shelves. This morning, the USDA has approved cell-cultivated meat to be sold to the public for the first time.
So that's where it all starts, just a few cells.
2 cultivated meat producers now getting the green light to begin commercially selling their chicken, not raised on a farm, but in a facility. The meat is grown using real animals.
And it's funny how they use the term, they get the green light, like Soylent Green, because, Soylent Green was actually human. And then lab-grown meat literally needs human cancer cells in order for that process to work. So there you go, green light.
Animal cells and large bioreactors fed with nutrients. I recently got a tour of California-based Upside Foods, the nation's first and largest cultivated meat producer.
You're making chicken in there.
Yeah, so if you look at this is approximately a 200 plus liter tank. And we take cells from a chicken or an egg. It takes 2 weeks to grow the equivalent of 1 chicken, 1,000 chickens, or 100,000 chickens.
So you're saying in this factory, you can make more meat faster and cleaner than an average farmer?
Well, ultimately, yes.
The company says cell-cultivated meat could help feed the world's booming population using a fraction of the land and water of animal farming and help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Many experts say more study is needed. I got to try this cell-cultivated chicken at the facility in California, guys. I got to say the texture was a little bit different, but it did taste like chicken. The company says they hope to get it on restaurant menus in the next few weeks, then maybe on store shelves in the next 5 years. And dozens of startup companies are getting in on the game, guys.
You mentioned the texture. So is it more like tofu?
George, it was pretty close to chicken, but maybe a little bit rubberier. You have to give it a try for yourself. A restaurant in California is going to roll it out next month.
Would you guys? Yeah, I'll take a hard pass on that. I'm good. All right, and I think I got one more video. This is, Israel is the only country that has a license for fake steak.
בעצם מדפסת תעשייתית שפיתחנו, שמיועדת להחליף משחטה. לשאלתך לפני כן, פה אנחנו טוענים את המדפסת הזו בתאי גזע, שאנחנו יודעים למעל לשריר ולשומן.
So it's replacing slaughterhouses. One has fat and one has muscle, these machines.
והיא יודעת להדפיס טונות ביום. טונות של בשר מתורבת ביום. זה רק לשם ההמחשה, אתה תוכל לבחור את הסטייק שלך, והמדפסת תתחיל לשחרר סטייקים בקצב תעשייתי. סירליון, לא יודע אם אתה אוהב יותר שומן או פחות שומן.
You can pick your steak, you can pick the fat percentage you want.
באמצע, view order, slide to print, ופה בעצם המדפסת מתחילה לייצר סטייקים. סטייקים, הייחודיות פה היא שתאי הגזע נשארים חיים אחרי שהם מודפסים. סטייק יהיה מוכן בסביב הדקה. דקה. השלב פה הוא שווה ערך לשלב שבו הפרה נולדת בעצם. הפרה לוקח 2 עד שהיא נשחטת, היא מזהמת את העולם בתהליך. פה זה תהליך שהוא הרבה יותר קצר.
בלי שטח, בלי מים ובלי
בלי שטח, בלי מים, בלי חתימה פחמנית. בלי פלטות ובלי כלום.
איפה הסטייק?
הסטייק עכשיו מודפס, ועכשיו אנחנו נעבור
זה המקדונלדס של העתיד.
כן, זה המקדונלדס, זו הקצבייה והמשחטה של העתיד.
Fast food.
If we don't think that they're already doing that at McDonald's, we're crazy because, BlackRock and all that's already, Vanguard owns McDonald's. They own the majority of it. So that's what's going on, guys. I mean, I know it sounds like science fiction, but, and this is old news. This stuff is old news. They come out with these fucking news reports well after the R&D is done. You know what I mean? Like, this has already been in restaurants on menus. So I don't know how you guys feel about it. I personally don't want to eat any cultivated meat myself. And I don't think Bill Gates should have anything to do with, he's an unelected psychopath. He should not be involved in our government or in telling us how much energy we need or producing meat. Like, he's involved in everything. The guy's involved in vaccines and gene therapy and everything. So enough of these psychopaths. But that's it. Thank you guys for stopping by. It's 7 a.m. Eastern. So Tommy Stiggs is going to be on. I appreciate you guys all stopping by. Have a great day. And We'll talk to you soon. Yes, don't touch it. I agree, Joe. Now that's frightening. It's like plastic or something. Yeah, it's hold on a sec. I'll play one more video for you. I'll show you something else. They actually show the process. There you go.
Soon, the entire world will start eating meat printed by a printer, and we won't even be able to tell if it's real meat or not. This isn't a plot from Black Mirror, it's our reality unfolding. Here's why printed meat resembles real meat so closely. The 3D printers use special bio-inks to create it. These bio-inks are actually made from stem cells extracted from different animals depending on the desired type of meat: beef, pork, poultry, or even fish. In a laboratory, these cells then multiply, interact, and differentiate into the fat and muscle cells that make up bio-ink. These bio-inks are then intricately layered by specialized 3D printers to construct meat products that closely mimic the texture, taste, and nutritional composition of traditional meats. This is identical to real beef, and when it is ready and served,
yeah, just absolutely disgusting. Now, I will say that they have 3D dessert makers that are really cool that build, like, you know, you can build desserts using a 3D printer. Like, it'll print out cake and different things like that. So, but using cancer cells and all that, I don't know. Osama, we better go to, I know what you meant, Suzanne. I call myself Osada bin Laden sometimes. So, not a problem. I've been, you know, in high school, I was called Tostada, Posada. I have all kinds of nicknames. We will see you guys tomorrow.